should be live now.
Should.
We should. Welcome, if everything is working. I'm Cumulative, and with me today is British Let's Plays.
Yes. They just use my name.
Well,
Everybody knows my name.
oh, if you like.
Or my website name.
Yes, British Let's Plays. Or Beyond the Game. And we will be covering the Nintendo Direct Mini, or we'll be discussing it, while I play some Minecraft in the background here. I can give you a quick tour, since you can see what I'm doing here. So, I have this huge spiral staircase that's eventually going to go down to bedrock, probably. And I want to make all these little chambers a bit more useful. The reason it's huge like this is because looking down like this is, I don't know, it feels, it's nauseating. It's really not very comfortable for me. So I'm going to turn this thin spiral staircase into maybe like a minecart track, so I can quickly get down and up when I need to. And I'll probably try to make something useful out of these chambers here. Every now and then, I've got a passageway going here, and I'm digging down this way in an attempt to make a monster dropper that is just high enough so that when the monsters land, they're at like 1 HP or like one sword swing away from death. So you can farm EXP and player-specific drops that way, player-specific monster drops. And the main chamber here is dug out. I just need to add some water sources and then get rid of the torches and then possibly replace this door with like glass or something from which I can just kind of supervise what's happening from a safe distance. And possibly light up all the other areas around here where monsters could spawn. I noticed that the area beyond that wall generates Endermen. So, and the way that they dig out this wall is perfect to just like slash at their knees through whatever gap they try to make. Then, out here, let's see, I think my spawn point is just over that hill there. So I haven't created a bed. I have died a couple of times in this world. So here's my sort of beginning of a farm here. Got like grass growing here, sort of building a fence to separate the chickens from it. There's a slime jumping around. A couple of wolves. The wolves keep spawning here, and like they're not a particularly big nuisance right now, but I might have to figure out a way to separate them. But yeah, I've herded a couple of cows and chickens into here as well. And that's more or less all that I've really established in this world. There's not really much here right now. There's kind of like, I'm sort of flattening out a field over here so I could plant a whole bunch of trees in an orderly fashion that I can harvest whenever I need more lumber. And there's a black sheep over there, and I know there's like a black horse somewhere in this field over here. Oh yeah, that way over there. And I could probably make something useful out of this field somehow, eventually. I'm just not that versed in Minecraft. But yeah, that's more or less what I've built of this place. Anyways, let's get to that direct. So let's see, as of this live stream, if you're watching the archived video, the direct was posted a couple of days ago, 2 days ago to be precise. And they just cold opened with, excuse me, they just cold opened with a follow-up to a game called The World Ends With You. Well, not a follow-up, a remake of it. Final remakes. So, tell me, what did you think of that?
I don't think it's a remake.
Oh,
for one.
All right.
I do believe it's a port of the iOS version.
All right, and that's what I suspect as well. Like, I'm not in a hurry to trade.
Mobile devices got an enhanced port in 2012.
Yeah, like I'm not in a hurry to trade in my original because I know that they're not going to duplicate the experience of the original DS the world ends with you. But what they're calling Final Remix, I am curious about. I really enjoyed the DS version. I attempted to. I don't think I attempted to live stream it, but I definitely attempted to record it once. I died on the intro fight. I died on the tutorial fight. And Wolfie was not impressed with me for that. But,
No, it is different. This is the final remix as opposed to the solo remix.
yes. So it is called The World Ends With You Final Remix. And it's not just, like, in terms of graphics and touchscreen gameplay, I would agree with you that it might be a straight remix, or a straight port of the iOS and mobile version. But I also believe that it's more than that, because that character that they used to promote the mobile version is actually getting a full-on scenario.
They called it an epilogue specifically.
Yeah. And that was something
I'm going to say translates to sequel hook. But,
perhaps.
you know, who knows, right? Who knows?
Yeah. The thing that made The World Ends With You stand out for me was that it was one of the first games whose sole purpose, one of the first games I've seen whose sole purpose, like more than anything else, was to use every single feature of the DS all in a single game. So there are battle mechanics that cause you to use the touchscreen, of course. But you're not only fighting on the touchscreen, you're fighting on the top screen at the same time with two characters. And like, I really like, they took this out for solo remix, but I hope they find a way to bring this back in, at least bring the experience of doing that back in for the final remix.
See, this is a game I've only ever heard about.
All right, so you never actually got to play it?
When did it come out? Initially, 2007. Good lord. I would have been preoccupied with Pokemon at the time.
Okay.
What's up? All right. I've heard about it. That's about it.
Okay.
It's okay. All right. Anything else while I'm busy? Having a conversation. Yep.
She didn't know you were recording?
No, she just doesn't care.
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah, this is just a game that I've heard about.
All right.
That I've seen, maybe.
Okay.
It's one of those games that I think I can safely say achieved cult status.
Yeah. It's, like, based on the promotional material alone, it just looks like if you really wanted to write it off, you could say it looks like an RPG Maker game. But when you actually play it, the art style, like, I mean, it is distinct, but I could see, like, well, maybe not an RPG Maker game, but certainly, like, you could say that it looks like a professionally done Flash game. But when you're actually playing it, when you get into a fight, it is squarely into the RPG. It is a fight that has RPG sensibilities into it. Like, there's no arguing that there's damage numbers, there's level ups, there's statuses, there's elements. There's all the familiar stuff you'd expect from an RPG fight. But you are fighting two fights at the same time. The way that the monsters work, they're called the noise. And fighting the noise consists noise reduction. So when you get into a noise reduction, there are, let's say you're fighting frog noise, because that's what they first start out as. They look like frog tattoos. So one appears on the bottom screen, one appears on the top screen. And on the bottom screen, you slash across them with your finger, and the main character, Neku, he'll do a gesture, and a little sword slash will go across them. Or you could press and touch and hold on them, and the area of the screen that you touch will burst into flames, and any monsters in that area will start taking flame damage, will start taking continual damage. On the top screen, though, your character stands in the middle, and the enemies are off to either their left side or right. And while you're fighting on the bottom screen, at the same time you're pressing either left or right on the D-pad if you're right-handed, and thus using the touchscreen with your right hand, or Y and A with your right hand if you're using the touchscreen with your left hand. So all you have to do on the top screen is say the enemy is to the left or the enemy is to the right, whereas on the bottom screen you're paying most of your attention fighting the monsters with touchscreen gestures. The monsters share a hit point bar, and the hit point bar extends from between the screens upwards and downwards. So as you deal damage on the top screen, the top bar shrinks down, and dealing damage on the bottom screen, the bottom bar shrinks up. And when the HP is gone, of course, then the monsters are annihilated from both screens. And it's exhilarating. Like that's the basics. When it starts getting complex is when you start passing a light puck back and forth. So whenever you do a combo finisher, you generate a light puck and you send it, let's say Neku does the finisher, the bottom screen. So he generates this light puck and sends it upwards. And if you can finish a combo with the character on the top screen just as the light puck reaches them, then you'll get something like a 1.2, you'll see something like 1.2 multiplied, and then the light puck will get passed downwards again. So if you can pass it back and forth like this with good timing, then your combo finishers will get stronger and stronger until you're dealing like 5 times damage with each. And there are some accessories that reduce your combo down to 1 hit. Like it combines all the damage into a single hit, so that single hit suddenly does 5 times damage, and you're just really powerful. And then there's other bonuses that get applied during battle, like, well, for one, how long you took, how much damage you dealt. Oh no, wait. One is how long you took. One is the combo multiplier, so if you can get it up to that times 5. And then there's a third one I forget. And it just, I don't know, it makes fighting a lot more desirable than the average RPG. A lot more compelling, a lot more desirable. And very, very different. And then the story, like, I can't even, like, I really shouldn't say anything about the story, just because it's one of those stories where even if you know the most basic details of the story, it could consist of spoiler.
Someone to know when you got about halfway through that gameplay summary, I had finished reading the entire Wikipedia page.
Were you paying well, yeah, I'm not very good at explaining stuff.
Well, I assume they're going to market it more because we don't have an actual date for it yet.
I suppose.
Maybe they'll do a better job of showcasing what's different.
Yeah, for sure.
Support.
I mean, like, for people who've played it, the thing that's different is it's on one screen. And you have... Oh, they did show a little bit of a difference, and that was that you have Joy-Con motion, and they showed that with a moving reticle on screen. Like, it was moving not in the way that a reticle would move.
Right.
It was moving in a way that a reticle wouldn't move if you were controlling it with an analog stick. Like, it looked like a mouse, but they said Joy-Con, so...
Gyroscopic displacement.
Yeah.
Yay.
So I'm guessing that you'll use the Joy-Con in the way that you would use the stylus on the DS. So basically like Trauma Center, which I find was a pretty good DS to Wii conversion.
If the price is right, and it comes out at a time when I have money and or not something else to do, I'll give it a shot, but it strikes me as a game that would kind of... don't know.
It's like I could see the let me think here. Like the scenario, certain details about the scenario probably wouldn't appeal to people. Like one thing they tell you very early on is that the clothes you wear make a major influence in the game. And the game is largely about style. So if that doesn't appeal to you, then I could see it not like... It's not so much about style as Style Savvy is.
I'd hope not.
But it does play a major role in both the story and gameplay.
Well, it's interesting. It's nice for the fans of it, but you know, I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah. All right. then let's move on to... Oh, crap, I just threw an egg. There. Let's move on to Pokken DX DLC. So, well...
That surprised me. I didn't think it would get DLC.
I wasn't too surprised, but, like, I'm happy for the people that got it. For me, it's, like, yeah, like I said, it's good for the people that bought it. For me, it's not that big, a thing.
Well, the reason it surprised me, because it's DLC for Pokken Tournament Deluxe for a start, but the reason it surprised me is because we had Pokken Tournament come out on the Wii U in 2016, and then all this arcade stuff was added to the arcade version that then got put into DX.
Yeah.
Alongside Decidueye. And I thought, okay, that'll be it then. Because the arcade's not getting any more updates. And then, no, here comes some DLC.
Alright.
And my first thought was, that's utterly random, because this is literally... The first pack is coming out on the 31st of this month. And the second pack is March. So that actually very much surprised me in A, how quickly it's coming.
Yeah.
Because it exists at all. But their choices, I think, make a lot of sense.
Where did you come from?
That's an Enderman on your screen.
Yes, it is.
There's a few things that are a bit odd about this DLC. You get some avatar items. They said there's also more, but we don't know what that more is. And I should hope there's quite a lot more, because this DLC's... I'm actually going to check on my Switch right now how much it is here in the UK. Probably obnoxiously expensive. But
I should probably figure out...
I think it's $15 American.
How did that guy get here? Where did he generate from?
All I know is the choices they made for the characters for the DLC I actually think are very, very good. And make a lot of sense. Like, the support Pokemon themselves. Okay, cool, you have Mega Rayquaza, which just... Not even normal Rayquaza, specifically Mega Rayquaza.
Yeah.
Which just appears to fly across the screen and hit everything in its way. Which means it's going to have the longest charge time. Then you've got Mimikyu that does Shadow Claw, so that gets in your face and does some damage. And then you've got Celebi and Mew in the second pack. And then the two actual fighters are Blastoise in the second pack, which I think makes a lot of sense. And Aegislash, which is a sword.
Yeah.
It's literally a sword and shield.
It's a sword and shield.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That makes more sense than Gengar and Chandelure.
Chandelure's pretty fun. I haven't played much of Gengar, but Chandelure...
Gengar's pretty fun too.
I was going to make Chandelure my second S level 100.
No, I'm a Weavile main, you see.
All right.
But when I do get Pokken DX, I do anticipate that I will get... the battle pack is £13.49 here. Well, I'll give Aegislash a go, definitely, because Aegislash is a great Pokemon. It looks like it has some of Chandelure's moves, is what I noticed. So,
right.
I mean, they're both ghost types, so that makes sense. Like, it has the forward-facing laser attack. I know that.
Yeah, all right.
That Chandelure has.
Yeah, that was its... Shoot, I don't remember. It's been such a long time since I played. I think that was its... not its charge attack. That was its... Strong... Like, just basic strong attack in field phase?
Yeah.
Alright.
So, there may be a little bit of clone-y moves going on, but...
Maybe.
As far as DLC goes, cool.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, for me, I think...
The game's not dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they're basically, like, going back to our earlier discussion on Street Fighter, like, if they're going to, like, whether a game does well or not, if they support it, then it's gonna eventually do well. Like, even if they keep supporting it, and that's what they're doing now, is that they're just not giving up on it.
I mean,
for me...
I don't know if they're going to do any more DLC after this. They might.
I want to see...
and more is.
Yeah. What I want to see is, like, just going off on a slight tangent here, I played the Style Savvy demo recently just because so many friends have been telling me that you've got to play Style Savvy, it's much better than you think it is, and I was surprised at how much production value was put into this game for how simple the game turned out being, at least the demo. In the demo, like, the thing that the thing that impressed me was that there was like fully voiced like music video style intros uh, and cutscenes and characters and lots of clothes and like so much customization and on top of the fact that there is so much customization, it's very difficult to make your character look bad. Like you could take any combination of like tops and bottoms and accessories and you'll still look pretty good. And I'm like, why can't other games do this? But the thing that disappointed me about Style Savvy was that the game itself is very simple. Customer comes into the shop and says, I want something that looks girly and is red and costs about $500. And so you plug $500 and red and girly into a search engine, and you get one or two pieces, and you pick the piece that you pick the most expensive piece that their budget allows them to buy. And that's pretty much it, really. And when it comes to Pokken Tournament, like I want to see a sequel like Pokken 2 with a 3D avatar that's customizable as much as Style Savvy is, and like among other changes. Like I think I've put enough time into Pokken 1 to be satisfied with it. But I have also noticed that over the past generation, whenever a My Nintendo reward is offered and it's a game that I've picked up. So if they offer Pokken Tournament DX as a My Nintendo reward game, I'll probably pick it up then.
Yeah, I suppose it depends if this is going to be one of those Pokemon spin-offs that is a one and done thing.
Maybe.
Like Pokemon Conquest and stuff like that.
Maybe, yeah. I would like to see. Well, they're giving more support to Pokken than they did to Pokemon Conquest, so I want to say that they're probably talking about a sequel.
Also depends if Bandai Namco wants to do it.
Yes. It is part Tekken after all.
It is very much like Tekken.
Yeah. They've even made
Like
they've even had comparison videos on which Pokemon or which Pokken moves map directly to Tekken characters' moves. And I forget how many I have to dig this way for.
Let's see, what was next?
Oh, yeah. Next, Kirby Star Allies.
Oh, I could talk about this.
Alright.
So, Kirby, the adorable little pink... What is he?
Exactly.
So, growing up, I didn't know about Kirby, like a lot of Nintendo franchises. I didn't know about Kirby till I got Super Smash Bros. Brawl randomly one day, and I'm like, who the hell's that? Who's that? What's Link? Samus? Who's that guy? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, I knew Pikachu, I knew Mario, I knew Sonic, and I actually think that was it. So, that was my introduction to the wider Nintendo sphere, I suppose. But Kirby... So I didn't get into Kirby until I got Triple Deluxe randomly.
Okay.
One day in 2014, summer 2014. And I played it and beat it in one sitting. And then Planet Robobot comes out, and comes out. And I've just fallen in love with this series because no matter what it does, and it's always been 2D with the exception of that weird spin-off on 3DS. It was really short. It's always been... Kirby seems to be the place they put those ideas they can't find anything to do with.
Yeah, kinda.
But 2D Kirby has never disappointed me.
Right.
Like, in all the 2D Kirby games I've played, I've had fun. At the minimum. There's never been one that's been particularly bad. And I look at Star Allies, and as someone who's never played what we know as Kirby's Adventure Wii, which is Return to Dreamland for you,
yes.
I've never had a 4-player co-op experience in Kirby before. So that'll be interesting to do for the first time ever. I hope it's not New Super Mario Brothers levels of why. It's interesting. The friend abilities, I like that.
All right.
All these different combinations to see what you can kind of do. Reminds me of Kirby 64, something I really liked from that game.
All right.
The game looks great. You know, it's Kirby. That's not exactly difficult.
Yeah.
And if anything else, it's just going to be a solid game. And you know, in the middle of March, I couldn't really ask for much more. I mean, it's not going to set the world on fire. it's not the Super Mario Odyssey to Kirby
Yeah.
or the Breath of the Wild to Kirby.
Yeah.
It's just a Kirby game with an incredibly buff King DDD. But I like Kirby, so I'm gonna pick it up March 16th, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Like, I'll probably, like, I'm not gonna pre-order it, but, like, once it's out, I'm just gonna, like, I'll pick it up once I have the time to. Like, for me, I've had my fill of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and I'm not in a hurry to play more of it. Otherwise, I'd probably go back to Kirby's Return to Dreamland and try to 100% it. But, yeah, like, I know this game is going to sell gangbusters. But, when it comes to Kirby games, I really like the side games. Canvas Curse, Rainbow Curse, that kind of thing.
The quirky ideas.
Yeah, yeah. Dream Course. Yeah. Oh, and, of course, Tilt and Tumble. Man, I played that game for so long.
You can play on a GameCube. I don't know why you would.
Yes,
but you can.
I did that too. At my local, like back when it was new, there was a local gaming club, and I wanted to show this to people. And of course, generally don't want like 5 or 10 people hovering over your shoulder looking at a Game Boy screen. So I put it on my Game Boy player, and just played it that way.
GameCube.
Yeah, yeah.
Start rotating the GameCube around. Yeah.
Yeah, like I held the GameCube and I had a someone there. Press the A button on the controller whenever it seemed right for them. Like I wouldn't be commanding them or anything. And that worked out pretty well. Like, effectively playing it in co-op. Why were there so many candles here? Was it because I saw the Enderman in this area? I still haven't figured out how that Enderman is getting generated. I probably just don't have enough candles lying around. Let's put one on the insides of these. Let's go make some more candles too. Some more torches.
So yeah, Kirby. It's going to be fun. It's a game I'm going to be very happy to pick up. I'll probably play it with my sister because she really likes Kirby. She saw Kirby and she loves how the game looks. So I'll give her a Joy-Con. We'll play Kirby. She'll get frustrated. I'll go back to single player and we'll just do that because it's safe. It's simple.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, this was a bad place to put the torches because that's where the redstone track is going to be. Let's put this one space out.
Okay, what happened next? After Kirby.
After Kirby was Dragon Quest Builders. And
Dragon Quest Builders demo.
I had spent a little time looking for where I had written that note before we started and then totally forgot about it. But the notes the notes I have say that at the time of writing it, that I had not tried the demo, and when I checked the eShop immediately after the Direct, the demo was not available in Canada. So I'll tell you now, the demo is available in Canada. Is it available in the UK?
It is available to pre-order on the eShop now. I know that much.
All right.
What's interesting? This is a 2016 game. Japan in January, worldwide in October. So we're getting it not that long after the West got the PS4 and Vita versions.
Mm-hmm.
And PS3 version, apparently, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting it February 9th, apparently.
Okay.
Japan gets it March 1st.
Yeah. So, anyways, I have played the demo, and it more or less confirms my suspicions about this game, that it's really just, like...
Dragon Quest Minecraft?
I can't even say Dragon Quest Minecraft, because Minecraft has a multiplayer focus, and Dragon Quest Builders does not.
Oh yes, we have a demo.
Yeah. So it's a single player... It's like Dragon Quest Minecraft for people who hate Minecraft, or have kept themselves in the dark about Minecraft, but want to play it anyway, just don't want to bother with Microsoft Mojang, or like I would say Notch, but Notch has distanced himself. Notch has divorced himself from that project. So like
we're getting the sequel as well, aren't we?
Yes. Oh wait, I can't say for sure that we are. And I was going to say, like, if this is Dragon Quest Builders, since the announcement of this, I wanted to say, if this is Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2, then I would be on board, like, for sure, because Dragon Quest Builders 2 has multiplayer.
In August 2017, Square Enix announced Dragon Quest Builders 2 for PS4 and Nintendo Switch.
All right.
This
So
is the original, just to get us caught up before the sequel comes out. Then
maybe, like, I know that like if that wasn't a translation error, or perhaps an overexcited fan sort of jumping the gun on, like, oh, they've announced 2, it must be coming to Switch, that kind of thing.
Square Enix has confirmed it's coming to Switch.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like, I'll get 2. Like, I'll definitely want to check out 2. But like, I can't really get behind Dragon Quest Builders 1 right now, especially after having played the demo. Like, they've certainly done a fine job in encoding the Minecraft experience with a Dragon Quest flavor. Like, you have the familiar sound effects, you've got the slimes, you've got the Drakkies, you've got the Spookies. Which I'm not even sure if they're called Spookies anymore. They don't really tell you what the names of the monsters are anymore. And you don't level up. Not by fighting, anyway. The only way you can power up is through seeds, and you get seeds by doing quests. And the building itself is all, like... There's a nice, unique feature in this game, and that is that you'll get blueprints. And you stick... Like, the blueprints are huge. You stick them on the ground, and you stick blocks where the blueprints tell you to. And they glow in light, and once you've filled out the blueprint, then congratulations, you've built a building. You've built... like a kitchen or a workroom or something like that. And once you've built a room that the game recognizes as a particular kind of room, then any NPCs that have joined your town will start using that room to create items for you. So
that's what Terraria does.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice in that you have some automation of your production. Anything you want to make, you can have NPCs do for you.
That's good. I like that.
So yeah, like that's a step up from Minecraft. Now, why did I have this built like this? Oh, right, I still need to make more torches.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I don't know if I'll pick it up because I'm getting a Bayonetta double pack.
Yeah, and like
a week later.
I want to say, like, wait for the second game, because the second game implements multiplayer, which I think is extremely important for a game like this, but it also incorporates something that some other things that Minecraft doesn't have, such as swimming mechanics. In Minecraft, if you're swimming, you just kind of hold the jump button to go up and let it go to go down. Dragon Quest Builder seems to incentivize exploration, underwater exploration a bit more. And, I mean, generally when it comes to Minecraft clones, there's one that I've been advocating a lot recently, and that is Portal Knights. And that one actually has a Zelda-style Z targeting combat system, which I think is, well, it's not the best, but it's definitely a really good start if you're going to make a game with combat, and like you don't want it to be first-person shooter style combat, i.e., looking out the character's eyes and pressing a shoulder button to use whatever's in your right hand or whatever's in your left hand, that kind of thing. But yeah, like, today, I would, like, if people wanted a Minecraft clone, I'd say get Portal Knights. I'll play Portal Knights with you on the Switch, I'll play Minecraft with you on the Wii U. If you have Minecraft on the Switch, I mean, that's, like, yeah, if you're not against getting Minecraft, like, the actual Minecraft, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to because I already have it on the Wii U, and I really don't feel that inclined to buy a second copy just yet. But, I mean, that's another case of, like, if it's a My Nintendo reward, go ahead, give it to me, I'll take it. But if it's full price, nah.
Okay, so that's Dragon Quest.
Yeah. Next on the list is Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition.
Yay!
So again,
so I didn't get the 3DS version.
All right.
So all the fairy stuff, the missions, the extra adventure mats, the Wind Waker story stuff, that's all going to be new to me.
That's the stuff you want. All right. Yeah, for me, all I really wanted from the 3DS was Linkle, and I got that in the Wii U edition. So I'll probably hold off on it. Plus, like, I have so many unfinished Musou games. I have, well, like, I have Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper. I have Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage, which is probably the shortest one and the one that I got closest to completing content in. I have Hyrule Warriors, of course. I have another one as well. Oh, right, Dynasty Warriors Advance. And that one I'm nowhere near completing, and it's actually a really good Musou for being, like, not just for being on the Game Boy Advance, but just for being a fighting game. Like a one against many fighting game. Like, it's a unique experience, even compared to the standard Musou-styled game. So I've got a bunch of Musou stuff I need to finish first, before considering any Musou game, whether it's whether it's Hyrule Warriors, whether it's a remake, or even if it's a new game. The main selling point that I want is online multiplayer. If you can do online multiplayer, then I'll consider buying a new Musou game.
Not sure how likely that is, but we have local split screen multiplayer, thank God.
Yeah.
Like they said, it runs at 1080p docked.
Yeah.
So that's an upgrade from previous versions.
The especially disappointing thing about this was that Samurai Warriors 3, when it was a Wii exclusive, had online multiplayer for all modes. Like, you just sort of say, I want to play online multiplayer when you start up the game, and go into whatever mode you want. And when someone joins the game, then, like, you could either do the story mode, you could do the history mode, you could do the unique Murasame Castle-based mode. All of that in multiplayer. And these new Musou games that are coming out have, like, you can only do multiplayer in story mode if you've already completed the story mode mission. And to me, that's just, like, why can't we do anything new in multiplayer? Like, why can't we go through the story mode together and, like, discover the surprises together? Is there something that they really have to hold back for spoiler reasons or whatever?
I'm not sure what other improvements they're going to do. I'm going to check the website
Alright,
now.
yeah, I hadn't really seen, like, nothing really stuck out to me in terms of new and fresh features for Hyrule Warriors Definitive. It seems just more for people who didn't have Hyrule Warriors Definitive, or for people who didn't have any other version of Hyrule Warriors, here's Definitive.
Brings every map, character, and mission from both versions of the game, including all the premium downloadable content, plus Link and Zelda outfits based on Breath of the Wild, 29 playable characters, full 1080p HD graphics in TV mode, and 2-player multiplayer on a single system. I think this was releasing in March in Japan.
Alright.
So I think we're going to get this in April. Call it a hunch. But I'm down for it because I like Hyrule Warriors.
Alright.
And a lot of the content from the 3DS version is obviously going to be completely new to me.
Yes.
And this is a game I could just sit down and play on a train for like 6 hours when I'm going to visit my grandparents or something.
Okay. Yeah, like, I kind of, like, when it comes to... Oh, that was not a block I was supposed to knock out there. When it comes to the Musou experience, I've mostly had my fill. Like, I could probably... I'm just thinking, what can I do? Like, I have Fate Extella. That's, like, I already have a Musou game on the Switch that I have yet to finish. Or a Musou-styled game, at least. So, yeah. So, there's my excuse for not buying a new Musou game on the Switch. I have to get through Fate Extella.
Well, one of the things that's going to be brought up is this is a lot of ports.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I don't care, because more games is more games.
Yeah.
Very much.
I mean, like...
More games.
Yeah. I summarized, yeah, like, I summarized the direct, like, immediately afterwards in a tweet that was basically like, the degrade, the Wii U ports, but what redeems it is the ports from other systems. Because, like, if it was just Wii U ports, then you'd hear people saying, oh yeah, so many people avoided the Wii U, so they'll get they'll get a chance to play these games now. Why can't you be happy for them? And those people are complaining that the Switch is getting ports from the, getting, like, PS4, Xbox One previously exclusives, so then I could just tell them, but so many people avoided those systems, why can't you be happy that they can now play it on the Switch? You know?
Well, no, my stance isn't that vindictive. My stance was people saying, oh, this is a kick in the face to Wii U owners, and my response will always be, yes,
like,
all 13 million of them. You know?
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations. You bought a Wii U.
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
But
Like, congratulations for the people who, uh, who avoided the Wii U and you could play this on the Switch. Like, have fun with it and all. But like, if they're expecting me to buy it and play it with them, then I'm like, no, I have it on the Wii U. I don't want to. It's not that good a game that I'd want to buy it again. For the most part, like there are exceptions, of course.
I don't blame them for porting over the Wii U's entire library at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, do it.
Yeah.
Because, well, it's the same reason. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say, and I use this game specifically as an argument all the time. The Last of Us came out on the PS3 just before the PS4 launch.
Yeah.
A
And
year
then
later,
immediately came out on
The
the
Last
PS4.
of Us Remastered.
Yeah.
Now, were the 80 million PS3 owners at that time complaining that they were being kicked in the face? No. And there was more of them. You know, I think they'd be more angry. But people don't seem to understand that.
Yeah, like,
the Wii U,
it's not
objectively, kind of failed. Yeah, that is the cut and dry of it. You know, it failed commercially. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
critically, actually pretty well.
Yeah. Like,
And people are in
when
agreement
people say
about a lot of these games.
like when people say like that it failed, they just what they mean is like in every possible conceivable way. Like it just might as well like you don't say that 18 million people bought the Wii U. You say nobody bought it. That kind of thing. Nobody bought it. All the games on it were terrible. It was never worth owning. Oh, but wait, there's this game being ported to the Switch now. So suddenly that game is really, really good now. And it's a kick in the Wii U owners' faces that so you should be angry about this, you know.
My question was, where the hell are all these Wii U owners suddenly getting vocal from?
Yeah, yeah.
Because where were you guys trying to help us?
Yeah,
where
like,
were you guys saying, hey, there's all these great games on this system, while the system was a thing?
Oh man, and this is going off on another tangent about
now you're
people
being
who
noisy.
Yeah, like this is another tangent that I wanted to cover on another topic or on another podcast at some point. But people who are trying to be offended on my behalf, who have no like, people who want to be offended and want me to be offended that like something on the Wii U, something regarding the Wii U, even though they don't have a Wii U, or they have a Wii U and they've never bought anything for it. You know?
See,
Just
my thing is, the developers deserve to have these games played by as many people as possible.
yeah. Oh, and they deserve to get like
Their
if
money
these
back.
games, their money, or more money in the case of people who are willing to buy these games again.
Mm-hmm. Like, honest to God, I would tell you now, if I was a third-party developer and my game was on the Wii U, I'd be jumping at the chance.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Well,
the
like
same reason, like, all these ports from other systems are coming. People
Yeah.
are saying, oh, they're just ports. But they're ports that have an inherently different value
yeah.
to
Like,
playing it on another system,
they have
which is a selling point.
Yeah, not only that, they make use of a feature that they don't even have to put effort into implementing, and that is the portability.
Yes.
Like they don't have to add special code to make the game switch between TV mode and portable mode. That stuff is done for them. Like
You
if
just
they
have
want
to change the resolution of your game.
Yeah, and if they
Right,
want
it
to if they wanted to add say Joy-Con features, HD rumble and motion controls, then hey, that's extra kudos for them from the players. Because the players know, like I know for instance, that even though it takes, like, if they're just porting a game over for portability, like they're not going to add HD rumble or Joy-Con features, then I'll be like, meh, they're just pressing the port button. But if they're adding those features, then I'm like, oh, maybe I should actually pay attention to this game. Like that's how I feel about, that's how I felt about at least the early ports. So like Skyrim got those features, so I'm having a look at that. Doom got those features. LA Noire got Joy-Con aiming. So that's like, after seeing the video previews about that, I'm like, I gotta pick this up, even though like I'll be stuck in Xenoblade 2 for the next month, or so I thought at the time. I'll eventually definitely get around to playing LA Noire.
See, I wouldn't buy a game based on what features are and aren't there. I'd buy the game if it's just a competent port. Like, if your game is not WWE 2K18, you know, I'll pick it up. Because if your port is good, like Doom, which, looks worse than the PS4 version, obviously. I mean, if you compare the size of the Switch to a PS4, night and day. And yes, it runs at 30 frames per second at most, but it's not like the old days of the PS2
Yeah.
and the Wii, where
Actually,
they
it's
would
not
get
even
a
at most.
completely different game.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even at most. It's a consistent 30.
Yeah, mostly, except
I
on high
mean,
difficulties.
to some people that'll sound like, um, it's not, it's not so bad. It's a dry heat, but still, a consistent 30 is better than an inconsistent 30. And from what I hear, other systems had had trouble even like maintaining a consistent 30. They'll be 60 at the best of times, but they'll be like 17 at the worst. So that tells me that at least some optimization has gone into there. They're not just crapping the game out on the system, waiting for it to sell badly, and then saying, "Oh well, we tried." You know?
None of the games are selling badly either.
Yeah, yeah,
Like people want these games, and here's another thing: when they're saying, would people double dip on these ports just because it's portable? How many people are going to take their system outside? And my thing is, you just said portability equals outside.
yeah,
Portability equals not at a TV.
yeah. So like
know,
in the bathroom. I mean, that
the
was the
bathroom.
joke for a lot of like DS and even Wii U owners. That was the joke: is playing the game on the toilet. Actually, that
Oh yes,
it wasn't even a game system problem. This was people like when Twitter was new. People were talking about I'm updating my status from the toilet.
people just having a session with the toilet.
Yeah. After seeing, all right, there's another tangent we're going on here, but there's another gaming community which I'm hopefully going to cover in a future episode, in a near future episode. But they're very into the Dragon Ball franchise, Dragon Ball Super to be specific. And when I got into Xenoverse, what the items that you get, one of the early items you get is called Arale-chan's poop stick. And I'm like, this doesn't sound very Dragon Ball like, but apparently there's a show called Dr. Slump that Akira Toriyama did before Dragon Ball, and it features a robot who doesn't understand human things, and one of those things is the concept of excretion. So poop jokes feature very prominently in that show. So that's what that reference was too. And oh shoot, where was I going with this?
Boop.
Yeah, something about poop. Crap. I hate it when I have an idea in my head and I forget about it. Ugh.
See, I'll take a game on Switch that I've already bought before, because in my life, the system just fits. You know, I'm
Yeah.
sat here right now. I have a 40-inch TV to my right, but I use tabletop MMO on my desk in front of me.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean I've
it's
seen a lot of
convenience.
people report that too. Like that just people have their work computer in front of them, and just a little off to the side is their Switch in tabletop mode with the Joy-Cons detached, or just lying on the table with the Joy-Cons attached, but like that they can just pick it up and play with their coffee on their left and their Switch on their right and their work in front of them on the computer.
My dock is in front of one of my monitors. It's always there. And people mistake portability for going outside.
Yeah.
And yes, you can play your system outside, like on the bus, on the train, on the plane.
Yeah.
It is something you can do. It's something I have done. But portability is more than outside. You know,
Yeah.
people are mistaking gamers for people. They're saying, why would you do this when you could just play it on TV and have a better experience with a more powerful console on the TV? And it's like, well, some people don't have the time
Yeah.
to sit in front of the TV.
I remember where I was going with this. Yeah, it was just we were there. People have an obsession with the toilet. That was it. One, two,
So
three.
all these ports don't particularly bother me. If there's a game that has, like, I'm getting Bayonetta 1 and 2 again,
Yeah,
because I want those games
Yeah.
anywhere. I'll get Hyrule Warriors again because I love that game.
that one. Bayonetta 1 and 2. I'm gonna be interested in seeing how well or how badly the touchscreen play is implemented, if they even implement it, because
They do.
yeah, because it worked really well with the stylus. I wonder if it, like, you can do it with your finger. You can do it with your fingernail on the Wii U touchscreen. I don't think you can do it with your fingernail on the Switch screen. You're going to have to use the flat of your finger. And I'm wondering if that's going to cause, like, some friction fatigue. If done for a long time. But yeah, like, using the Wii U gamepad, playing the game on the TV, and then getting that one quick time event that you think is going to be the jump button, but is actually the magic button. And I would always bypass that just by touching the screen. Like whatever the button is, touch the screen and it counts as a success.
Yes, they've mentioned there is touch controls.
Yeah. So if I'm doing that with my Switch, what I'm going to have to do is when that scene is coming up, I'm going to have to undock my Switch, press the button. I might not have to do it now that I know that that's the point where I'm expecting the magic button to be the prompt and it's going to be the jump button. But if at any point, like in Bayonetta 3, if the prompts are random, I might have to do that. Like when I know a prompt is coming up and I don't know what button it's going to be, I'll have to undock the Switch, touch the screen when the prompt comes up, and then put it back. Redock it again.
See, ports are more games.
Yeah.
That'll always be my stance. If the port is good, awesome. If it's WWE 2K18, I'm gonna say that's a bad port. And it's not a good idea to buy that game.
Yeah.
But if it's a
But I mean,
port,
even if it's a bad port, and it's universally hated, people are still going to buy it, and because it evidently took such little effort to port, the developer's going to make money off of it.
yeah. Here's the thing: a lot of these games are things that are going to be new to Nintendo fans. These are going to be experiences they have not had before. Like a lot of the third-party games, anyway. The Wii U ports. Oh, Wii U ports.
Like a lot of the stuff that, well, from my perspective, if I look at it and see that this didn't look very good on the other system, I'm probably not going to want to give it a chance on the Switch unless, like, what's been happening lately is that Nintendo's actually been doing their own endorsements for these, in particular for Skyrim and recently for Dragon Quest Builders. And even though Nintendo themselves is promoting Dragon Quest Builders, I'm not totally on board with it. So I'm like, it'll be worth a look, but not necessarily worth a purchase. In that case, but yeah, it's hard to say.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't expect Wii U owners to buy games they already own again. I will because I love portable gaming at this point in my life.
Yeah. Anyways,
any excuse not to turn my Wii U on.
Yeah. In any case, back to the Direct itself. The next game that was covered was Mario Tennis Aces.
Okay. I've never played a Mario Tennis game.
Alright, you've never played a Mario Tennis game, okay.
Nope, never in my life. And Ultra Smash happened, and I remember people hated it because it was the most bare bones, basic. And didn't people also not like Mario Sports Superstars on the 3DS for the same reason?
Let me think here. Mario Sports Super. That one actually looked appealing, but I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I think it was something that I wanted, but I just had maybe too many games in line. But generally, like,
it's just the really basic sports.
I may have mentioned that I don't like simulation sports games. I do like fantasy sports games, and the thing that I didn't like about Ultra Smash was it rang a little too closely to simulation sports for me.
As I said, basic.
Yeah.
But here we've got a game that has a story mode.
Yeah.
Which I'm interested in seeing how that's going to work, having not had the Game Boy Advance games, which had story modes.
Yes.
What's also amazed me is how quickly this game's coming.
Yes.
Because Sports Superstars was end of last year.
I shouldn't be surprised about that because Camelot has been very quiet since Ultra Smash. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had been working on this since then.
I wouldn't have been surprised if this is what Ultra Smash was meant to be.
Possibly that too, yeah.
Because you look at where the Wii U was at that point in its life, it's like, should we really bother putting the effort in here?
I would point out one conspicuous detail though, and that is Ultra Smash focused a lot on the female playable characters, whereas this one, the trailer for Aces, focuses primarily on the males. I don't think they even showed any playable females.
Well, we also don't know when it's coming out. They just said
that
spring,
too.
which makes me think April.
All right.
So, I mean, it's going to be a good sports game. It's going to be better than Ultra Smash.
I mean, easily that, yeah.
It's already got more courts than Ultra Smash.
Yeah.
So it's already a better game than Ultra Smash.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It makes me wonder, like, when is the next Mario Strikers game? Because That's my jam right there, Mario Strikers.
All right. Now, oh yeah, I wanted to mention that you said that you haven't played a Mario tennis game before.
Nope.
I've played just about all of them, and I feel like when it comes to Aces, they showed they said that it has a story mode, and from someone who has played all the Mario tennis games, the portable ones have always had story modes. So I have to wonder, like, the Game Boy Color one was a pretty decent story. I liked that you could take your customizable character between the Game Boy Color and the N64. Or more specifically, you could copy your character. You could copy your character's information from the Game Boy Color save file to the N64, and unlock that character as a playable in the 64 version. The Game Boy Advance one, I think Mario Tennis Power Tour. I watched some friends play it, and it seemed nice. It seemed pretty good then, but when I played it myself, I found it really boring. Like, the presence of a story mode actually got in the way of the gameplay. So to me, this was Camelot letting their inner RPG developers manifest a little bit too strongly. So they can do it well and they can do it badly. Oh wow, there's an achievement for this. But yeah, so they can do it well and they can do it badly. So I'm going to have to wait on this one to see. Like, I might actually want to see people let's play this to see whether the story gets in the way or not, or whether it's well done.
I mean, that was a nice surprise. I mean, I didn't expect a Mario Sports game already.
Yeah, if you
But,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like, I'm at least expecting
golf and Strikers.
Yes, I'm at least expecting the level of quality that they had with the N64 game. Like, if it's as fun as the N64 game, then I'll probably pick it up. Like, if it's the N64 game with online play. And the N64 game was minimal, but Ultra Smash seemed even more minimal than that.
Ultra Smash was Ultra Smash.
Yeah.
Ultra in name only.
Oh, and one point that I wanted, one thing I actually wrote down in my notes here is that it depends on how much they mix the simulation aspect of tennis, which, you know, it equates to fairness in the esport circles. Like, the more simulation-y a game is, generally the more fair it is. But I want to see a lot of fantasy elements in there too. Like, if they can implement fantasy and balance it, then that might be the deciding factor. What's next? Alright, next is one that I have a lot of notes written down for. Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana.
Yeah, so
what
I'm
do you
going to
think?
assume, because this is published by NIS America, this one has a fixed script.
So tell us about the unfixed script.
Oh, good. So the first one that released last year was translated by the developer of the game, Neon Falcon. And Jesus Christ, you have not seen such a dry, broken Englishy script in your life.
Wow.
So they're having to patch it with help from NIS.
All right.
And they're the ones who are publishing this version of the game, so I'm going to assume it's going to be the fixed script.
All right. So,
But
I mean,
this is a game
that sounds reasonable.
Completely under the radar.
All right.
Like, I forgot this was a thing on PS4.
What, Ys or Lacrimosa of Dana specifically?
Ys 8, I completely forgot this was a game on PS4.
Okay.
It just like, okay, what? That came out?
All right. Well, let me tell you about my impressions then. The first thing I saw when I saw that the title was Tears of Dana, because lacrimal glands, those are what produce the tears. And I have to ask, if tears is what they were going for, then did they have to say Lacrimosa instead? Because, I mean, I take it back if Lacrimosa ultimately doesn't mean tears, and they were just looking for a fantasy word to use for some thing. But the statement stands that it still sounds like a dumb name to me, to people who know about lacrimal glands. I mean, does the title do anything for you?
It reminds me of Square Enix. That's about it. It's a JRPG, all right.
Yeah, like, what I'm reading from this is that it's a tragedy that involves this Dana character.
Maybe.
Yeah. Personally, I'll wait for reviews, same as with Doom and LA Noire and other games from third parties. I'm just reading my notes verbatim right now. Third parties that have balked on supporting Nintendo before, and Falcom definitely fits into that. I feel like specifically Ys, the Oath in Felghana would have done really well, and I keep forgetting to make it more pickaxes. I feel like the Oath in Felghana would have done really well being both like a high, well, it's not a high action game. It's not like Ninja Gaiden or Bayonetta, but it is a very fast-paced action game. It is uniquely its own thing. I don't think any other game could mimic Ys the Oath in Felghana very very well without being called an Ys clone. And Lacrimosa of Dana seems very very different. You know, it feels to me like it's more of it feels more like it's trying to cash in on the Musou popularity, and that's the main reason I want to wait.
So this was apparently first a Vita game.
All right.
In July 2016 in Japan, then released in September 2017 everywhere else on the Vita, apparently.
All right.
PS4, May 2017, September 2017. Windows is the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
And Switch is sometime this summer.
All right.
A very recent game.
Yeah. So it's getting ported everywhere, apparently. And and I agree with your statement that hopefully with the updated, not broken English script.
Well, this version is being published by NIS.
Yes.
So,
was it voice acted?
yes.
All right. Did the actors actually say these broken lines in English?
I'm going to assume they did. Haven't played it.
Because I have to wonder.
I'm not joking right now when I say this. This is the most marketing I've ever seen for this game. And I follow PlayStation quite heavily.
Yeah.
I didn't know this existed.
I really have to wonder if they got a native English speaker to read the script. Would the native English speaker, would those actors and actresses have said, "Say, this is grammatically incorrect. Can I say something else?" Like, I feel like someone who's this day and age hired to do English lines would say something if the lines they were reading weren't correct. Or is it just,
I don't know.
Like I can't say this from the perspective of someone who's had a professional voice acting. Oh crap!
The president and CAO of NIS America issued a statement personally apologizing for the substandard condition against localization and announced an update for the game that would fix grammatical errors, typos, inconsistencies, and also take a fresh look at the dialogue and characterizations. Voice dialogue will also be updated to reflect these changes.
Aha.
So yes, the voice acting was apparently also affected by that.
Yeah. I have to wonder, if I were a voice actor, would my job be in danger if I questioned the script?
Probably, yes. So, as far as games go, I mean, the gameplay caught my eye.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be interested in picking this up.
Like I said, to me it looks a bit like a Musou, and I've mostly had my fill of Musou. But if it reviews well, then I'll take a closer look at it. The only other, I have another note there for a small gripe, but I'm not a big fan of damage numbers appearing at random locations on a monster, because on a big enemy, as they showed in the trailer, a number can show far off to the right side of where an impact lands, leading you to believe that your attack missed and reacting accordingly, possibly costing you the fight in higher difficulties. So that's just, this is from the viewpoint of, something I wouldn't do myself. Maybe it just wasn't that big of a problem for the playtesters and the developer. Oh, that's not supposed to be a gap there. But yeah, maybe it wasn't a problem for them. Maybe it's just a problem for me. Next on the list is the Odyssey update.
Okay, Odyssey, great game. The costume's cool. The new Instagram filters are cool. That's what they are.
Yeah.
I like the sunshine outfit. Gives me nightmare flashbacks, but I like the sunshine outfit. The Balloon World?
Balloon Worlds?
Yes. So that's the speedrunning mode.
Okay.
So this is Luigi's involvement in the game. So you talk to Luigi, and he'll give you, and you can do either find it or hide it.
Okay.
So if you choose hide it, you get given a balloon and 30 seconds to go to anywhere in the level as fast as you can and place a balloon.
Okay.
And then people online can choose your account and try and find your balloon in 30 seconds. So it's a speedrunning mode, basically.
All right.
Objective-based speedrunning.
Yeah.
Which I think, because have you seen this game speedrunning community? Good lord. Is an excellent idea. I like it.
Yeah.
But it's a case of, okay, cool.
It sounds like fun, but it seems like something that I would definitely not do good at. Because, as you had mentioned, the speedrunning community
is absolutely insane for this
yeah.
game. I've seen people I know doing stuff that I'm just sat there going, what? And how? And why?
But yeah,
That's
like
just...
to me it just what they showed makes sense, because most of what I've seen people post of Mario Odyssey has been of their position in the leaderboard in the multiplayer games. So adding more multiplayer stuff seems like just the thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. It comes out in February, so
like I think if they did anything more like an actual new a new kingdom, I don't think they'd stop at a new kingdom. I think they'd do a set of new kingdoms and they would charge for the DLC, because they would put, like, just to match the rest of the content in the game, they would be doing work that people should be paying them for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It continues the never-ending train of Switch games getting further support.
Yeah. Let's see, Oh, yeah, and I did see a complaint from someone regarding, like, they thought that that Nintendo was hinting at a new playable Luigi, and my response to that is that they hadn't built Odyssey. Like, this was someone that probably didn't play 3D World, because going from 3D World to Odyssey, they obviously did not build Odyssey like 3D World, where you can complete each level based on multiple playable characters' personal physics. And in 3D World, every character has their own, like, running speed, jump height, and, like, unique characteristics. And
no, even in Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2, Luigi does play differently.
Yeah. So, like, they would have to, like,
account for Luigi's floatier jump.
Yeah, not just Luigi's, but I think
low attraction.
Like, being that they had set the precedent with 5 playable characters, well, 4 playable characters and an unlockable in 3D World, I think they would, like, if they were going to do multiple playable characters, they would include at least Toad and one of the princesses.
Yes.
If not both. If not Peach and Rosalina. Because we know there's not a third princess. There's clearly not a third princess who is yellow.
Yeah, that was Pauline.
She's a mayor though.
Yeah, but I mean, God, Pauline's done more than Daisy's done in her life.
Yeah.
In one game. Pauline actually has a voice.
Yes. And she's got a set of pipes too on that voice.
Former voice actor of Tails, believe it or not.
Hmm.
So, the Sonic comparisons are very apt.
Let's see, next is SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy.
I've never played an SNK fighter, but I saw this and I thought, I know people who are going to be all over this. It's not Dead or Alive, but it's close.
It's Heroines, so people who are into Dead or Alive get that appeal, at least. But this is actually not SNK's first girls-only fighter either. There was, on the SNK Neo Geo Pocket Color, I believe, they just called it Gals Fighter, SNK Gals Fighter. So this seems to be
a perfectly fine fighting game,
yeah.
But,
So this, I don't know if this was the case in Gals Fighter, but in Tag Team Frenzy, you have to use a finishing move to win the fight.
That sounds like another game I've played. I don't know what it is.
But let's see, what else? A new 2D fighting system from SNK. Oh yeah, I wanted to point out that SNK really hasn't done anything since their arcade days in terms of this. Everything that I've seen lately is basically Virtual Console and SNK Arcade Classics and SNK Arcade Collections and King of Fighters
14 last year.
All right, yeah. So yeah, King of Fighters. But, nobody's not, to me it doesn't seem like King of Fighters has the presence it used to back when it was a rival to Street Fighter in the arcades. Back, let me think here, what year was this? Maybe around the 2000s. My city still had an arcade. And you would have, you would not have a Street Fighter in that arcade. This was an arcade that catered a little bit more to the SNK fans because you would have a Metal Slug cabinet and you'd have a King of Fighters cabinet. And the Capcom cabinets there consisted Marvel 2 and Dungeons and Dragons. And like, but the people there, like, they would actually point out why SNK fighters are worth attention. Like, for one thing, in Street Fighter, you would have your jump, your forward jump, your back jump. In SNK, in addition to those, you could make any jump a powered jump by pressing the opposite direction first, or a light jump just by tapping the button. And this added a lot more strategic possibility to spacing. There were special moves that comboed into other special moves. This is not going to sound new to anyone who's been playing other fighting games since then. But yeah, like their Kyo Kusanagi, for instance, had his like if you do a Hadoken type of gesture, then he could combine that into a he could combo that special move into a Tatsumaki, and then combine that into a forward punch to do a 3-part special move. And like, there's just so much stuff. There's more experimentation that the SNK developers had with their fighting system than Capcom seemed to want to do. The thing that repelled me from SNK fighters back then was it seemed like SNK wasn't putting enough effort into their games because there was a game out every year. Like, to me, it seemed like they were just... And, well, not just that there was a game out every year, but the art style didn't seem to change, which made it look like, to a person in my area, to an arcade goer in my area, it looked like SNK wasn't putting effort into their games, even though they were refining the fighting system every year.
I mean, it's cool that there's a new SNK fighting game coming out. I mean, at this point, I 100% expect King of Fighters 14 to be ported to the Switch. And then it will just be the SNK machine.
Maybe.
Because we're getting just about every Neo Geo game now.
Yeah, I mean... Hamster. Yeah, thanks to Hamster. To me, it sounds more like a hamster machine, because Hamster's been porting over more than just the SNK stuff.
Yeah, they're doing the Nintendo stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
The good old Nintendo arcade games everybody forgot about.
And the Psycho shooters. I have Strikers 1945, and I really hope I get... I think they have Strikers 1999 in Japan. I'm hoping there's an English release. If not, I might just have to go into my Japanese account and get that.
I'm so happy the Switch has a vertical mode as well for those arcade
shooters. And pinball games, too. And I guess there aren't really that many pinball fans out there, but I'm one of them. But that's not what we're talking about today. SNK Heroines. Oh yeah, the one-button statement that they had mentioned during the Direct probably turned a bunch of people off, and like, to me and to people who are enthusiasts of the Smash Brothers series, one button is not a deal breaker.
No.
To me, actually, it reminds me of the Naruto Gekito Ninja Taisen series on the GameCube, which were a pretty complicated series of fighting games, despite all of your like non-ninja magic moves being mapped to the B button, all of your ninja magic moves being mapped to the A button, and all of your special moves being mapped to the X button, and which move you throw out depends on what direction you're holding and what part of a combo you're in. So it's a legit basis. It's a legit mindset from which to base a fighting game.
This is coming out summer 2018. I think it's coming out at the same time on other platforms as well.
All right. Let's see. After that is the Mario and Rabbids Donkey Kong Story DLC.
I love that game. More than I ever thought I would. And Donkey Kong, as much as I'm not the big fan of Donkey Kong, which is going to bite me in the ass in a minute because I know what comes next, is, okay, cool.
Yeah,
more stuff to do in Mario plus Rabbids. I'm okay with that.
My Mario and Rabbids play is a little bit on hold because I sunk all my time into Xenoblade. But now that I'm through that, I can probably get back to it, and I can, like, I have a goal in mind, and that is to finish the story of Mario and Rabbids before the DKC or before the DK DLC comes out. So I mean, that's probably something I can see myself doing that. One,
I guess
two,
I'm
three,
doing this
four.
well. I'm just a few battles away from the end, and the game just started absolutely beating me down. So,
Yeah,
because the one thing about Mario plus Rabbids is it is deceptively difficult.
yeah. Like I'm already finding difficulties in chapter 3.
Chapter 3 is the one where it kind of yo-yos a bit.
All right. Yeah, it's the escape bit
Hmm.
that I'm stuck on. But yeah, like seeing how quickly people got through it, I know it's probably just I'm probably just tackling the problem from the wrong angle.
Yeah. The thing with Mario plus Rabbids is any move you make could either take you down the right path to success or the wrong path to success, and recognizing what that path is going to be before you do it is part of the fun.
Yeah, and
I spend about 10 minutes before a turn just going through all the possible plays in my head.
yeah. And they give you the chance to respec whenever you like, which I mean on the one hand is uh it's great that you don't have to like spend resources to respec your character. But on the other hand, it tells me that there's a distinct correct build and a distinct incorrect build. And if you choose the incorrect build, you're going to have to play in a style that you don't like to pass this puzzle. But I mean, it never really advertised itself as an RPG. So like,
No,
it's a
it's a
yeah,
tactical strategy game.
it's more of an XCOM. So
It
as an
is XCOM.
yeah. So I can accept it for that.
I've never had to respec myself. I just go with it.
Yeah. Like I would imagine that ultimately you can fill out the character sheet eventually. You can fill out everyone's character sheet eventually.
I'm close to doing it.
Yeah.
That's because I'm going back. I'm completing every world before I move on to the next one, which means I'm doing some challenges that I really shouldn't do.
Let's see. Look at it, damn it, and finish it. Other games. Oh yeah, the slap high five at the end was
Yes.
was a nice touch. It tells me that Soliani and his team like they still understand how to capture that comedy style that feels natural to both worlds. Actually, I can't say I qualified both worlds because I haven't really followed Rabbids that much, but like the stuff that they're doing with it kind of makes me want to again. I have Rayman Raving Rabbids 1 and 2. I'm about
The
halfway
rabbits are
through.
toned down in this game.
Yeah.
That is the one thing I've noticed.
Um, I'm trying to think about like what I remembered about Rabbids. Like the thing that sold, like, the thing that sold me about Rabbids was actually the initial trailers. Rabbids don't clean windows. Rabbids don't know how to use a. Rabbids don't play football. That kind of thing. But the thing that sold my friends, I still remember this very clearly. It was playing the one. Was playing the one mini game, and like my friends were watching behind me. And you run up and like well no one rabbit is holding a football, an American football, and you have to run up and kick it, and you run up and you kick the rabbit, and like I turned around to see my friend just speechless with laughter. Like that was the thing that exemplified that was Rabbids. That's Rabbids style humor for me, and like that's what I want to see more of when I see Rabbids. And the second
The
game just
slapstick.
yeah, well, slapstick is vague in that like it's that very specific brand of slapstick, that very specific style of slapstick that was so well captured in the first game that they seem to miss in the second, and possibly even in
Yeah.
further games. Like I want to say it's not ironic humor, even though it's something you expect one thing to happen and something else happens. Is it? Is that ironic humor?
No, that's something else.
And it's not really Britcom humor either, because like when I think of like Britcom humor, I think of like Faulty Towers and Monty Python. Well, John Cleese.
Yeah, just John Cleese.
John Cleese. Yeah.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, next was also Donkey Kong.
Next was well, Payday 2, which I really don't have much to say about it other than it looks nice. I want to like
I used to live with a guy who that was the only game he played. He put like 3,000 hours into Payday 2 on Steam.
wow. But yeah, like
And
they're
some matches of
advertising.
Payday 2 can go on for a very long time.
Yeah. they're advertising heavily that it's, you know, get online and play with your friends. So that's entirely what I plan to do. I plan to get this game, get online and play
So
with
it's cool. You
friends.
can play co-op as well locally
Yeah.
if
Well,
you have multiple switches.
yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. And I do know, like, the local guy who does the movie runs and the gets people together for parties and stuff. There are at least 3 or 4 people that bring their Switches with them. So yeah, we could potentially do local payday heists as well. Let's see. After that is Faye.
Hey.
F-E.
Okay, so funny story about Faye. Uh, as we know, it's EA Originals,
Yes.
which is EA published, but EA has no hand in whatsoever.
Okay.
It is literally just EA publishing the game for you. You know, they don't have any impact on what happens in the game.
Okay. All right.
So it is EA's most not dickish, I want to say. The nicest thing EA can do, aside of give someone else the Star Wars license.
All right.
But there's something funny about Faye is that it's coming out February 16th on every platform. And the PS4 store page, for some, I swear to God, some poor intern who has to make the store pages for these games, he saw the letters EA and just went into autopilot. Because the PS4 store page mentioned in-game purchases.
Oh boy.
And the developers turned around and said, no, that's not true. We're going to see if we can get that corrected.
Yeah.
Like, some intern saw the name EA and just autopilot.
Whoops.
Like, EA must involve in-game purchases.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it doesn't. But it reminds me, gameplay-wise, of Spyro. Which
All right.
has my interest peaked.
Okay. Like, I'm wary of this one because of the EA name, but now that you've said that, I'll give it a closer look. For me, like when I first saw it, the first impression that I got was someone is naming this game FE because people will look at it and think Fire Emblem. And like to me it seems like something that they're capitalizing over, or one of those like T-shirts that says sex. Now that I have your attention, something something something. You know?
No, it was revealed, I think, 2 years ago, something like that.
All right.
So it does look cool. I'll
right.
see how it does. See what
Yeah.
it's about.
Yeah, it does
And
look
if it's
nice.
good, I'll pick it up because it does look nice. It does look really nice.
Let's see, and this was sort of a, like they did a 2-for-1 reveal on this. I don't know why they used a
Celeste.
single icon. Yeah, they used a single icon in their direct page in their video to show this. The second game was Celeste. And
It reminds me of Meat Boy.
I remember this being announced very, very long ago, and it looked like a very, very basic game and something that I would just, you know, you play as Celeste, you want to climb a mountain, it's procedurally generated, and blah. But then, you know, now that they're showing it again, they're saying, there was one line that they mentioned, if she has the stamina, and if she has the stamina, she can climb anything. And there's a game that comes to mind, isn't there? Well, at least one game that comes to mind. There might be even two or three. But to me, what comes to mind is Zelda. Like, see that mountain? You can climb it. And I think maybe...
Assuming it's not raining.
Yeah. I get the feeling that, like, maybe these developers got a lot of people saying that this game looks or feels very generic. Can't you do something unique with it? And they might have played Zelda or saw Zelda and thought, yeah, we could probably incorporate that into our game too. So that's...
It looks fun. It looks like a cute indie game.
Yeah.
Which is it's going to sell well on the Switch. That's just
it does look fun.
throwing that out there now.
Yeah,
it
like
will sell well on the system.
Yeah.
Because Super Meat Boy, which came out on my birthday. Yes, it's just a port of Super Meat Boy from 2010 on the Xbox 360. But apparently, I'm actually just going to look up Team Meat's.
All right.
I love that name for a company, by the way.
Team Meat.
Team Meat. Yes, that is the name of the guys who make Super Meat Boy.
Yeah. I need to get more sticks.
Team Meat. So they revealed that Super Meat Boy on Switch's first day sales came shockingly close to its debut on Xbox 360 back in 2010.
Yeah.
So that's kind of disturbing.
You know, like, thinking back on it, I wasn't even expecting that game to do that well on the Xbox 360, considering that, like, neither Meat Boy nor Binding of Isaac, because, like, I was pretty immersed in the Newgrounds site and culture, I guess, back then, and like these were Flash games where like when you bring them to a console, I mean, sure you can play them. The consoles could run Flash games faster than most PCs at the time, but still they still had back then the unrefined sort of messy look of a Flash game. So like, why would you buy this? But people did. Maybe it was just like, even today I would kind of write it off as the novelty of playing a Newgrounds game on a console, like with a real console controller in your hands. Oh, hello, Brandon2805 from Twitch.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today. We are up to the Celeste part of the Direct Mini.
Yeah, I'm just watching the trailer for Super Meat Boy Forever again.
All right.
Super Meat Boy's humor is really good.
Okay. Yeah, like the trailer was pretty
so
nice.
Dark, but it's, I'm British, so.
Well, it's dark, but Team Meat has done this dark humor for so long that I'm kind of desensitized to it. Like I'm kind of expecting it at this point, especially for how many hours I've poured into the Isaac games.
Yeah, I can't wait for Meat Boy Forever, but it's great that Meat Boy's doing well, because when I saw Celeste, the first thing I thought of was Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Like
just in terms of like the jumping off wall stuff.
Yeah, yeah. The thing that like I look at Celeste and like it doesn't look generic anymore, but like when I first saw this trailer, I'm thinking I might still just pass on this because it's the kind of game that I would buy, I would start, I would enjoy the novelty of for a couple of hours, but then I'd hit a snag and I'd probably just leave it forever. Just be like, yeah, I bought it and got part of the way through it, but then it just got too difficult and I just can't be bothered. And then they mentioned that you can make this game as easy as you want it to be. So like if you can slow down time, you can make yourself invincible. Like, okay, so now you can buy this game, enjoy the novelty, enjoy its charms, and then once it starts to get difficult, say no to the difficulty and finish it.
Yeah, slow down your jumping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going through Twitter here, and I can't believe I just saw Nintendo UK tweet out, "Save Bandage Girl from the evil Dr. Fetus." If you told me all these mature games are coming to a Nintendo console like 2 years ago, I would have laughed you out the room.
Is Meat Boy considered mature?
It was when they didn't allow it on the Wii.
I mean, is it just like it's just a that wasn't why they didn't allow it on the Wii. They didn't allow it on the Wii because of space limitations, and that was because they wanted to put, I think, 400 levels. It would have released on the Wii eShop if it had its original 40 levels, and then had like the other 360 levels added as DLC. But what they did instead was they bumped up the price and just stuck all 400 levels into the pack, and that broke apart. I think it would have like filled the Wii's internal storage by itself. So that made it like impossible for people who wanted to just get the initial 40 levels and not buy the DLC. So it was space limitations rather than
it's Binding of Isaac's did on that one.
Yeah, rather than it being like that was the one that they that had the M rating.
Yeah, but if you would have like told me Doom, Wolfenstein 2, Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, well, anything from Bethesda, Dark Souls, I wouldn't have believed it.
Anything from Bethesda.
Yeah.
LA Noire of all fucking things. LA Noire.
From Software. You know what I thought From Software would have done if anything?
Castlevania.
Castlevania. Do they own that now?
No, but I would really like a From Software Castlevania game.
I don't know if I would. I'd like Konami's getting back in the saddle. I'd like to see them tackle their own Castlevania before. I'd like to see them reveal a Castlevania before Bloodstained comes out, just to attempt to one up Igarashi. Like even if it's a failed attempt, I want to see them attempt. But From Software, I would have expected them to do Lost Kingdoms 3. Have you played Lost Kingdoms 1 or 2?
Nope.
All right. It is. From Software was one of the first people to show an RPG on the GameCube when people were clamoring for an RPG. Lost Kingdoms was a non-traditional RPG. I mean, you still level up and stuff, but you mainly fight by throwing a card onto the field when the card lands, a monster appears, and that monster does the fighting for you. That's not the only that's the main way that you'd summon monsters. There's other monsters which exist as weapons. So when you press the button for that card, you swing the monster's weapon. So you can attack directly, and you power up these monsters, these cards, by sinking crystals into them, and those crystals, of course, fall out of the monsters you fight. And the game is called Lost Kingdoms because you're the princess of a kingdom who's like the kingdom's basically fallen apart, and you're picking up the pieces and rebuilding it, and uncovering the mystery of why this has all happened. Let's see, like it fell under a lot of criticism, and if you bought the game at launch, you would be, well, if you were a social gamer, you'd be falling under, like, you'd have people giving you the dirty eye for just like for giving attention to this game. But I think it's like it's still worth playing today. Like if you played it today, you'll notice a lot of the inspirations. Like you'll notice a lot of Dark Souls elements in it.
Doesn't surprise me.
Dark Souls is very much more a straightforward style of game compared to Lost Kingdoms.
Is it the Dark Souls of Dark Souls? 2017. What a year that was.
Thinking emoji.
Everything was Dark Souls.
Well, that's not just set 2017. That was like the entire past generation. Like, is it the Dark Souls of something? Like, what was the first game to do that?
The first game I remember doing that was actually the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Yeah.
When people say, wow, this game is so hard, it's like Dark Souls. And I'm like, what?
Cuphead came out before that, didn't it?
No, Cuphead came out after. Cuphead was September.
All right.
And people said that was Dark Souls as well.
Yeah.
And the internet just went, okay, we're gonna roll with this now.
Yeah, but like, well, for me, it was like any game that was even vaguely difficult was called the Dark Souls of its genre. Like that was the thing. Like Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge was the Dark Souls of action games until or
Dark Souls.
Yeah. Now, like, I want to say Dark Souls on Switch is the Dark Souls of Dark Souls. But yeah, I started looking up.
Pro Controller sales are going to go through the roof.
We've jumped ahead of it a little bit, only by one thing. One topic ahead, and that was the topic that you wanted to get to. Oh yeah, like I've said everything I wanted to about Celeste. The ability to make the game extremely easy is appealing to me because, I mean, if the game's novelty wears off, then I can still at least finish it.
Yeah.
Tropical Freeze, new funky mode.
Every game now.
Yes, that was the best thing about that announcement for me, is that people are sticking new funky mode onto other box arts.
So this goes out the 4th of May, which, okay, cool.
Oh, it's a
I'm going to
wiggler.
shove my foot in someone's face right now and say, I don't like Donkey Kong. I've tried playing Donkey Kong Country. It bored me. I tried playing Returns. It bored me. I tried playing Tropical Freeze. It bored me.
All right, yeah.
Like, as a platformer, I think this is a bit basic.jpg. I'm gonna give it another go because people just will not stop singing the praises about Tropical Freeze.
For me, the music in a game carries it. Like, if a game is terrible but has great music, I'll play it till the end. And this goes for Celeste as well. Like, if the game didn't have a difficulty adjustment, but the music was really good, then I'd probably finish it. I'd find the skill somewhere to finish it.
I see Tropical Freeze.
But that's the way it is with Tropical Freeze. It has such good music that
I'm going to give it another whack.
Yeah.
On the Switch, because it'll be portable, and I won't have to sit in front of a TV and play it.
Yeah.
But something about the Donkey Kong Country games just doesn't grab me.
Yeah, like if it weren't for the music in the earlier games, I would say it was the novelty of seeing CG graphics on a non-CG system. Like the only other game that did that was Mario RPG and Treasure Hunter G if you lived in Japan. Treasure Hunter G was Square Enix's legally distinct Super Mario RPG. Well,
see, but this goes back into our discussion about ports. If you didn't have a Wii U, congratulations, you can now play what many would consider one of the best 2D platformers ever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for
a
me,
lot of
like,
Wii U games are widely considered to be great. It's just no one bought them.
yeah, and you can also point out the hypocrisy of people who said, "Oh, it's not worth buying a Wii U for these, what, 20 games," and suddenly all those 20 games are on their Switch library.
Alongside other great games. To be
Yeah.
fair.
Um,
I mean, the funky mode looks cool, and easy mode
yeah,
has the abilities of all the other characters.
yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to point out about the trailer. Is that they said, like, they're talking about Funky Kong, talking about what he does and how bodacious he is, and then they say, like, not even Spikes will slow him down, and Spikes literally slowed him down.
Well, they won't kill him.
They won't kill him. Like, I know what they were getting at, but they had a poor choice of words there.
Incredibly slow.
Yeah. Like, like, as soon as they said they won't slow him down, he lands on the spikes. He's not killed or harmed, but he is stopped. So I just found that amusing. That it was kind of a poor choice of words. And that is a dark spot that I need to light up, and I don't have any torches.
And it has the core mode as well. So yeah, that's
Yep.
yeah, that's a cool game. I'll get it, but like
Danky Kang.
Yeah, Danky Kang. You know, my enjoyment kind of stops and starts.
Yeah. For me, yeah, it'll be I probably won't get it because I need to finish the Wii U game. So I'll play it but I'll play it on the Wii U while everyone's playing it on the Switch, and I'll enjoy the music, and I'll let the music carry me through the game.
See, when it comes to Nintendo's free mid-tier 2D platformers, you've got Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Kirby. If I was to place them in orders as a priority, I would have Kirby at the top and Donkey Kong at the bottom.
Alright.
Because even though Kirby is notoriously easy until you get to the extra stuff, at which point it's notoriously difficult, you know,
Wait.
I find it more fun. Donkey Kong, I find kind of boring as far as 2D platformers go, and I don't know what it is about it.
I think...
That's just me.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
when it came to the old Donkey Kong Country games, like, I can't really name what it was I liked about it. Maybe it was, like, the primal satisfaction you get in collecting all those bananas. Maybe it was the, like, not just the music, but also the sound design. Like, the sounds of doing just about anything is pretty satisfying. The platforming is very loose. It's very slippery. That would probably be the weak point. What would be the strong point for most people is the weak point for me, is that the platforming is very slippery. It doesn't really feel very good to move around, but it does feel good to do everything else. The collecting, the making any sound happen, the listening to the music, the finding the secret areas. The hitboxes were a little janky too, but they did have some consideration. Like, you could see that when Donkey Kong holds a barrel above his head, and Diddy holds it in front of him. Diddy's, like, the advantage in playing Diddy is that if you walk up to a secret wall, Diddy will break the barrel against it. So it's sort of a safe check as to whether there's a secret wall there or not.
Yeah.
So it has, like... It
has cool aspects.
Yeah, yeah. It has those interesting features that you see the developers were thinking about. But yeah, I could see why, like, it would become boring for a lot of platforming players. Like, elements A and B appeal to them more, and those were elements that the developers didn't really think about or thought about in a different way that didn't appeal to those players. I think we've just about...
It's a nice game.
I think we've about covered DK as far as we can. So now, Dark Souls Remastered, the final announcement.
Event,
yeah. The Dark Souls of Dark Souls announcements.
The Dark Souls of the Nintendo Switch. Okay, I knew this was coming because ever since From Software last January was listed on that infographic, it's like, okay, well, they're going to be making something, and what is it From Software makes? Yeah.
You want me to answer? You want me to answer again? Lost Kingdoms.
Well, no, I was thinking, what is From Software known for now?
Yeah.
So the answer is,
Dark Souls.
It ain't going to be Bloodborne, because that was part developed by Sony. It's not going to be Demon Souls, because that was part developed by Sony, which leaves Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, that's easy.
And I mean, thematically, they're similar enough games. The
only,
like, what I would say, if I was going to play Devil's Advocate before this announcement, if I was going to play Devil's Advocate other than Lost Kingdoms, I would say a Nintendo collab. Like, if Bloodborne was a Sony collab, then they would have something like the wonderful 101 with Nintendo collabed with Platinum, Nintendo would collab with From Software for something legally distinct.
Yeah, I can see it. But Dark Souls. I've never played Dark Souls. I have made a deliberate part of my life to avoid that game as much as humanly possible. Because when your game is marketed as prepare to die, that's not the most inviting message to give to somebody. But, now that it's on the Nintendo Switch, it's kind of fallen into the same place as Skyrim for me.
All right.
Now I will have the opportunity to play it when I have time.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, my problem with Skyrim was I don't have time to sit down for 2 hours and dedicate myself to make any progress.
Yeah.
Same with Dark Souls, because you're going to die a lot. In this situation, yeah, it's cool. And a lot of people are saying, oh my god, it's going to be inferior to the PS4 version. Well, the PS4 and Xbox One versions are 1080p 60 frames per second. The Switch version is 1080p 30. And if people at any point, I'm going to say it right now, if you ever complain that Dark Souls Remastered on Switch runs at 30 frames per second instead of 60, Dark Souls 3 runs at 30, Bloodborne runs at 30, and the original Dark Souls on Xbox 360 and PS3, don't ask what that ran at. Like, there are moments in that game where it goes single digit.
Wow.
So, even on Switch, undocked.
So if it's an optimized 30, yeah.
It is an optimized 30. It is a portable mode. It is the same resolution as PS3 and Xbox 360, but with a better frame rate. And
oh yeah, I wanted to point out on my point form notes on my phone's news feed. Like, I get news of various topics from various health and kittens and stuff like that. But the top feed on my phone was not Dark Souls Remastered announced, but specifically Dark Souls Remastered announced for Switch. Like, no mention of other systems at all.
The other systems announcements came about 20 minutes later.
But yeah, like, that was the news. I guess it's just not news if it's announced for other systems.
No, the other systems is business as usual.
Yeah.
It's why people will complain like, oh my god, the PS4 sold 74 million systems up to December 31st in 2017. It's like, cool, why is no one reporting on this?
Yeah.
The PS4 had a great year. And it's sat there going, because business as usual is not newsworthy. The Xbox One having a great December and outselling the PS4 in North America. That's newsworthy, because that's not business as usual.
Yeah.
The
PS4 software attach rate still being abysmal. That's not newsworthy either.
Well, that's just going to be part of any system having 70 plus million users.
Yeah. So that most of them are going to be repairs, replacements, or in some cases, gifts. I've noticed that in a lot of the cases, people that I know who have PS4s they either got them as gifts, or they're on their second or third one, because their old one either wore out or they returned it and bought another one. Yeah.
At this point, I do think PS4 sales are going to slow down, because now we're at the 75 million mark. My immediate thought is, okay, everybody who has one now pretty much is someone who wanted one.
Yeah.
There's going to be the upgrade path to the Pro.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But now I think we're going to start seeing it slow down. Not, amazingly slow down. It's not going to tank. But it is going to start to slow a bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna want to see people if there's someone considering a PS4, then they're probably gonna I'd probably want to see them get a Switch instead. The least of all reasons being that we'd be able to play together. Most of the games that whatever they want, if it isn't
exclusive.
Yeah. If it isn't exclusive, it's going to the Switch. If it is exclusive, it's probably still going to the Switch.
I mean, I can't argue the PS4, if you like a wide variety of games, is a good system to have, because it does have a very, very wide variety of games.
The main reason I would avoid the PS4 is, the same reason I've always given, is that Sony has used unethical business methods to build the PS4, halitosis marketing to sell it, and they still, the most recent, atrocity that they've committed, as far as I've seen, was the racist banning of someone because their name contains jihad in it. Oh, no, wait. There was another thing. They protected someone who stole a PS4, and warned the rightful owner against protecting his own credit score.
Hmm.
So yeah, like, it's just like, Sony should be a non-entity. Most of the people working at Sony should probably be in jail. I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of that I guess a lot of gamers just don't care about. A lot of, like, I don't want to say ethics, because they'll suddenly care about ethics when, like, Nintendo changes an E to an I in a game. Oh no, that's censorship.
It's called localization. Censorship and localization are two different things, people.
Yeah. But when Sony literally commits, like, racist or like, worse, like, actual crimes, oh, but suddenly the whataboutism comes up.
I just wanted to allow crossplay.
Yeah. Like,
I'm being
as soon
100%
as...
honest, there is no reason they shouldn't be allowing that. Because people have made it very clear, developers have made it very clear, we want to be able to play with people on other systems. And it's easy to set up, it's easy to do, but they just won't
Yeah.
do it. And I don't
I'm like,
know
just,
why.
yeah, developers, just give up on Sony. The Switch is doing well. Put your game on the Switch. You can crossplay it with Xbox and PC. Just let Sony die. let actual game companies step up in their space. Let Capcom make a console. Let Konami make a console.
I would not trust Capcom with hardware.
Well, I would trust them more than Sony. I would give them precisely one chance. I would
I'd
trust
give them half a chance.
like From Software with a console. Like, even though I don't...
That's a console that comes with a knife that stabs you every time you put a game in.
I would trust Inti Creates with a console. It would be a pixel. It would be locked into pixel graphics, but I would still trust them with a console. Actually, no, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be locked into pixel graphics because it would launch with the Azure Striker Pack, and it would probably have Gunvolt 3 as an exclusive.
So 25th of May for Dark Souls Remastered.
All right,
I mean,
I can wait that long.
I can wait that long too because I'm going to be playing that game blind.
I actually looked up a little bit of info, and there's a particular aspect of Dark Souls that I'd be interested in. Apparently, there's factions that determine what kind of multiplayer you play. And the reason people are saying praise the Sun is because the Sun faction goes into other players' worlds and helps them beat the single-player game. The faction I'm interested in, though, is the Dark Moon faction. Partially because my co-host Wolfie, her proper account name is Dark Moon Wolf, but also because the philosophy of the Dark Moon faction is that they go after and kill players who have broken their own faction's vows. So it's a faction of justice. So that sounds especially appealing to me. And like, apparently you can do things in multiplayer, such as when someone kills you unjustly, then you can indict them, and that'll send the Dark Moon faction after them. I think every time you die in an unjust fashion, you gain an item called an indictment, and then you can use that on the player that killed you, or potentially save it up for someone else, I don't know. Or it might be that you have to trade items for indictments, and then just be prepared so that when someone kills you, you can use it immediately. But I'll find out when the game comes out.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna break my Joy-Cons in frustration.
Out of those two factions, which one would you lean towards? I think there's like 9, but still.
Sun.
Sun? Alright. Yeah,
What do you
Sun seems like what most people who talk about Dark Souls will go towards. There's some that are just like, there's a particular area of the game that you have to protect, and there's like a spider there, and if you ally yourself with her, then whenever she calls you into someone's game, that means a player has just reached there. You have to kill them. You have to keep them from getting through the forest. And I think that, like, because that counts as a, like, it counts as upholding a vow, so you're not going to get the Dark Moon after you. I don't think you can get indicted for that. But what can happen? I think you might it seems almost like I don't remember what I've read very clearly, but it seems almost like you'd have to break a vow if you were just if you just wanted to get into PvP and harass others, like just kill players. The most legit way I can think of to do that is to defend particular areas, ally yourself with particular NPCs, and defend particular areas of the game, effectively as the game's monsters.
Hmm.
So, like, you go into a ghost-filled forest, and the ghosts you see are actually other players. That kind of thing.
I'm interested in a game. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it blind. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. I'm going to stream and suffer, and
I'm gonna continue to forget to make pickaxes.
I'm you know, Dark Souls is something people have tried to make me play before, and I've just never had the time.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
going
now-
to do it.
Yeah. Now
I'm probably going to enjoy myself.
on the
That's
Switch,
good.
yeah.
I'm going to go in knowing I'm probably going to like it.
I know, like, one of my local friends texted me, knowing that I've been trying to get him to play Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, and he texted me, knowing that I like difficult games, saying that, hey, yeah, Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch, what do you think of that? Like, I know you like difficult games, and I'm like, well, I had to clarify to him, it's not the difficulty of the game that I like, it's the esoteric combat system. But, hey, Dark Souls has an esoteric combat system, so that's what I'm going to look forward to.
Yeah, it does look like something I would enjoy quite a bit.
Let's see, what notes do I have? I didn't even look at my notes for this one. On my news feed, okay, yeah, I did that. Again, treating this like Doom and LA Noire because it's from software. So yeah, I'm gonna want to see what like features and stuff they incorporate. If it's like, again, if it's a cheap port, then I might just pick up a cheap version, like pick up the old version on Good Old Games or something like that, just to say that I've played it. But yeah, if it turns out to be like, if it reviews well, then yeah, I'll pick it up on the Switch. I enjoyed Lost Kingdoms 1 and 2. Yeah, we talked about Lost Kingdoms. If you played those, you'll recognize certain elements that are used in Dark Souls. One local guy texted me. So I basically got through my notes without looking at them. So yeah, that's all I have for notes on this game. And one thing I've just noticed now that I put my notepad away is that I have my tweet alerts on and I haven't been looking at those. But yeah, like with the tweet alerts, anyone who, since I'm playing Minecraft with the Mario Mashup Pack, anyone who tweets their screenshots with hashtag Minecraft and hashtag Wii U, or hashtag Minecraft and hashtag Nintendo Switch, will have their tweets show up on my feed. I think I might automatically tweet that message whenever I go live. But yeah, it's a neat little feature that I found out about recently. Tweetalerts.tv that you can add to your live streams if you want to risk people tweeting you certain things. Like I'm just imagining, like, what games would this be? Senran Kagura that might not have things that you might want to see, Senran Kagura fan art or something like that. I don't know. I try to be decently specific about the hashtags that you got to include, just so that if it's too vague, you'll either get posts that you don't want to see, or posts that have nothing to do with what you're playing, but you'll get them frequently. And of course, if they're too specific, then you might not see a tweet alert appear on your stream at all. But yeah, this was based on something that Tom Bob Blender had in his live stream, and that was that if you tweeted him at any time while he was streaming about anything at all, then the tweet would appear on his live stream. And he'd usually be happy about that, but like it's a very loose requirement, and lately I have not seen those alerts appear on his stream, so I wonder if he has removed or changed the conditions under which they would appear.
Oh man.
So we've covered all the topics on the Direct Mini. Are there any closing thoughts you'd like to add?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was entirely ports in the new Mario Tennis game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, third parties aren't going to have something new to show
Yeah.
yet. Because they were rightfully, I have to admit, unsure
All right. Yeah.
initially. And also, you look at other systems early on in their life, they also got a lot of ports.
Mhm.
And of course, a lot of these ports, like Dark Souls, are new to Nintendo crowds. Stuff from the Wii U is new to just about anybody.
Yeah.
That's the joke. Because unfortunately, it is kind of has some basis in truth.
I wanted to say that like another live streamer, well, a couple of other live streamers actually, have pointed out that this direct seemed a bit rushed, and I want to say that yeah, like Nintendo had never made an official announcement. It was certain predictors, predictors who have a lot more credit than I think they should have. Some people have said they're never wrong, and well, they were wrong. They're saying that Nintendo would announce a direct on the 9th, and I feel like these predictors they'll make very safe predictions. They'll make predictions that people want to hear, and predictions that are, if they are wrong, then they don't get called out on it. Instead, Nintendo gets vilified for not making the prediction come true. You know what I mean?
One thing is that this is very deliberately a direct mini,
Yes.
and historically, and this has been noted, every time in the past there's been a direct mini, it's up to 20 days later there has been a full direct.
All right.
So what I'm thinking is here, because this was a lot of ports, a release date for Kirby, which is coming out relatively soon, and stuff, and a couple of big things like East and Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I think that, and I don't like speculating, but this is honestly based on their track record with mini directs, and this has always been the case.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a full direct that will cover a couple of the things, like some Kirby in more detail, Yoshi, Fire Emblem, stuff, properly Octopath Traveler stuff we know is coming this year.
Yeah.
There's going to be a direct before E3.
All right.
Not a chance in heck.
Oh,
but,
well, yeah, that's quite a long time to wait between directs. So, yeah.
There's going to be a direct before E3. But my thing is, when, I don't know. But we have release dates now for a lot of things. It is quite packed, to be fair, between now and the end of May. Dates stop at the end of May.
All right.
Specifically. Which tells me we're going to get a direct that goes over, say, some stuff we don't yet know about for, like, April, because nothing is dated in April yet. That's something I've noticed.
Okay.
So we're going to get another direct that's probably going to have updates on, like, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Mario Tennis, Fire Emblem we still need to see.
Yeah, alright.
So I'm going to assume they're not going to say that for E3.
Okay.
Give Yoshi a final name and stuff like that. So I think there is another direct coming, I couldn't say when, but this was very much a get the smaller stuff and a couple of big things out of the way first.
Alright, yeah. Like, Yeah, I don't feel like I could make a very good prediction at this time. But, I mean, the easy thing to say is, yeah, that yes, there will be a direct between now and E3. I want to say that I'm going to hope that there's a big announcement, like something that hasn't been leaked or announced or hinted at yet.
You know GTA 5 is coming, right?
Ugh, I don't want GTA 5.
Yeah, but the rest of the world does.
I guess. I mean, if there's still, people, if people are still buying it, then yeah, sure. Rockstar.
People are still buying new physical box copies.
Do your Rockstar thing, Rockstar.
Yeah, just do that.
What do I
EA's
want
gonna
though?
announce some
Let me
stuff.
think
I don't
here.
know what EA could announce. Bethesda's going to have some stuff. We still need to see Wolfenstein 2. We
Yeah.
haven't actually seen the game yet. So, there is going to be another direct, and another thing people remember is like, wow, 2018 seems really sparse. Well, yes. How did 2017 look before we got there?
Yeah.
And, how did the holiday season of 2017 look at the start of the year? Empty. With a couple of vague things.
Yeah.
And then when we got to September, suddenly it was flooded. Suddenly, there was Wolfenstein 2, there was Doom, there was Resident Evil Revelations, there was LA Noire, there was Rocket League. All just, like, 3 months before they came out.
Yeah.
You know, so
Do you think?
we're 2 weeks into January.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell us about after E3 until closer to E3.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell us about December until like
I'm
August.
just thinking, like, what kind of announcement, like, how to word this? Like, what kind of announcement do you want them to make as a surprise between now and E3? Like, throwing out all, like, realistic expectations and hints and stuff that you've gotten. Like, just a complete, like, out of nowhere game announcement. What do you wanna see?
First party or third party?
Both.
So, okay, well we know Scribblenauts is getting another game. That's been leaked. Several retail listings for that. And I completely forgot Nintendo owns Scribblenauts. South Park: The Fractured Butthole is apparently coming, and that wouldn't surprise me because that's made in the same engine as Mario plus Rabbids.
All right.
So third party announcement, so just like dream announcement.
Yeah, dream
Of
announcement.
any third party game.
Like, they do their direct, like they do their before E3 direct, and they show like all the stuff that's been announced and predicted and figured out and data mined and whatever, and then they say, oh, one more thing. What is that one more thing?
Okay, if it was a third party game,
It could be
that
anything.
One more thing
Yeah.
would be, let's see, the absolute dream. Third party game. Just randomly being ported with no prior warning whatsoever. I would have to say Kingdom Hearts collections.
All right. You know, mine is similar. Mine's sort of on the same track. But not Kingdom Hearts, but what you see is steampunk. And normally I don't really like steampunk that much, but you see a whole bunch of steampunk stuff. You see Monolith Soft, you see Grezzo, you see Square Enix, you see Final Fantasy 16.
That's completely out there.
Yeah, but that's my dream announcement.
On a first party level, though,
Yeah, like Monolith Soft and Grezzo were, to me, a lot of what made Final Fantasy peak, the Final Fantasy series peak at 6. And I think if they could bring those teams back in, those ex-Square Enix teams, those ex-Squaresoft teams, bring them back in for a really good, proper, perfect, memorable Final Fantasy.
just keeping the Nomura the hell away from it.
Yeah.
So it comes out this decade. On a first party level, though, if there was one surprise announcement, I mean, you know, before E3 last year, I'd be sat there saying Metroid Prime 4, but that's a thing. So now I'm going to move over to another franchise that, personally, I have not gotten into, but one of my best friends loves the original game for this, and I want to see either a Golden Sun remake or Golden Sun 4.
Oh, yeah. Knowing what Camelot is doing these days, I'm going to say it's very unlikely, but I would like to see it too.
Very unlikely. Boy, we got Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah. Camelot is...
Anything can happen.
Camelot seems to be all in on the sports and just leaving the RPGs behind. But, I don't know. Story mode in tennis tells me that, you know, maybe there's still some people who want to do, people who want to do something similar to an RPG, if not a straight-up all-out RPG. Like, this story mode in Mario Tennis Aces, is it going to be like the Game Boy Advance games where you actually distribute EXP and level up your skills? Or is it just going to be, you know, tennis with story to break up the tennis?
Oh.
That's the question.
Alright, here's a better question. What the hell is Retro Studios doing?
Ravenblade.
Again?
I'm just going to say Ravenblade until it happens.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. No one does.
Yeah.
Retro Studios is just kind of doing something. I mean, we may find out at E3. I mean, we said that last year. But they're gonna be something big that isn't Donkey Kong at this point.
Yeah, like if
It does not take 4 years to make a Donkey Kong game.
it does not take 4 years to bring Tropical Freeze to a new system. But yeah.
Retro, what are you doing? And why are
Ravenblade.
you suspiciously quiet? But yeah, if it turns out to be Ravenblade, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I do have to wonder, like, Grezzo says they're working on something to do with a legend, which makes me think they're gonna like remake Skyward Sword.
Legend of Zelda
Because we've already
Skyward
had
Sword.
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess done.
Hmm.
So just remake Skyward Sword, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, that would be my other dream announcement. Not Legend of Zelda, but again, going back to the Square Enix thing, a Seiken Densetsu 3 remake, again with Monolith Soft and Grezzo, who were big elements in Seiken Densetsu and what made Seiken Densetsu 3 distinct.
You see, there's a lot of stuff we don't know about.
The heck? Did I dig that out?
I think you did.
Oh, right, yeah, I found some stuff here.
Um,
I really should have lit this better.
I do wonder, like, because Monolith is already working on their next game.
Yes.
Uh,
What are the odds that it is Xenoblade X2 versus Xenoblade 3?
Okay. Me, personally, X2, please. Because that cliffhanger. It's probably Xenoblade 3. At the same time, though, we have seen they can work on two games at once.
I almost, like, considering one led to X, and I know that it has a cliffhanger, but I haven't encountered it yet. Well, I know that ends in a cliffhanger, but I haven't finished it yet. I kind of want to say they have, like, this weird idea, like, this idea of weird stuff that they have on the table that builds up, that leads into the side games. So, I kind of want to say they have a tangential game to Xenoblade 2, which might end up being called Xenoblade Z. Because you could just flip the two over.
Well, the thing is, they started making Xenoblade 2 in 2014, and X didn't come out until 2015, obviously.
Alright.
And then 2 comes out in 2017 using the same engine as X.
Okay.
So, my thought is, first off, export, please. My life would be gone. Because I love that game. But in addition to that, like, X2 should happen because cliffhanger. And it does stand apart from the main Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
It is very different.
Yeah, it's like it gives you a break from the fantasy setting. I mean, it's still fantasy, but it leans
More
a bit more
sci-fi.
towards sci-fi. Yeah, it leans a
Which
bit
is right
towards
up my alley.
more towards sci-fi. It's the two, like having Xenoblade and Xenoblade X run parallel, run side by side. Each one acts as a palate cleanser for the other.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that if X2 is a thing, they started work on it like last year or 2016.
All right. All right.
That's just like, that is an announcement that would make me, like Metroid Prime 4 last year, squeal like a little girl. I audibly squealed.
All right.
Or an
I'm
export.
probably going to have to close the stream pretty soon because not only have we run out the notes and everything, but I've also finished my drink and now I have to really have to go to the washroom.
Fair enough. I need to go downstairs and make sure Dax is okay.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Yay.
Hopefully I'll see you next time. And of course, leave your comments in the description if there's anything you'd like either of us to talk about. Yeah. Because I mean, my audience is still pretty small, so I should be able to get to everyone while my audience is small. Anyways, thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Bye.